everybody, welcome back to Taji's World of Books and welcome to another book series recommendation video. Hey guys, welcome back. So I'm going to film this in a couple of clips because I want to get this information to you hot off the press. I have had this series on my TBR for quite a long time and I just decided I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And so I went ahead and started it, and it is Kate Stewart's Flock, and this is the I think it's the Ravenhood series or trilogy. So wow, you guys, this series is intense, okay? There are so many tropes in here. It just covers so much. I don't even know where to begin. So let's see, where do we want to start? So it starts off with Cecilia, and there are a number of characters that come into play. There's Sean, there's Dominic, there's Jeremy, there's Tyler, and then there's a series of other sort of characters that are outside the main periphery. But Cecilia has left her home in Georgia and she moves to live with her father. Her father and mother have never been together except to procreate and make her. That's all we know, to procreate and make her. And her father basically is a part of the 1%. He's a gazillionaire, and he has done little to, if anything, to support and help her mother raise her. So they have been dirt poor her whole life. Okay, so she then has an opportunity to, her father is going to give her her inheritance because he has claimed her as his heir. But in order to do that, she has to work a year in his plant and factory. And so she agrees to do that. So she moves to Triple Falls, where he is, and she starts a job at his factory. The first person she meets in orientation is a guy named Sean, and Sean has left the plant and come back. So now the town that they live in is a very poor town with menial blue-collar workers. People are working paycheck to paycheck. And so everybody works at the plant basically because that's how they survive. Very quickly you learn that the plant is cheating everybody out of money. They're just stealing. So they do it in very subtle ways. So everybody's paycheck is short, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. And if you complain too much about it, you get fired. And this is brought to Cecilia's attention, and they're like, because on the first day she thinks that she's doing the right thing. So she says, listen, you're all gonna find out anyway, I'm the owner's daughter, like, but I'm not here for that, blah, blah, blah. But when she does that, she sets herself up for being a target, and it's probably not ideal, but that's what she does. Okay, so when shit hits the fan, they basically are like, you're the owner's daughter, you need to fix this, and she's like, you don't understand, he doesn't give a shit about me. I am nothing to him. You probably all mean more to him than I do, but what is she gonna say? She can't say that. So they look at her like she's the enemy. And she develops very few friends, but you know, she's trying. So in the first book, Sean invites her to a picnic. He likes her, clearly. He wants to, he likes her. So he invites her to a picnic, and very quickly she sees Dominic, she meets Jeremy, she meets Tyler. They all have this kind of tattoo that's kind of peeking out at their sleeves. You can see it. They're clearly very connected and close. She's like, she doesn't know what's going on. She's like, is this a gang? Is this, what's up? And like, nobody really tells her anything, but Sean is like, listen, you got to be a shark to be here. You can't be a beta. Like, you got to step up. You're strong. You can do it. Don't let them walk all over you. If you can handle it, you will survive. But like, be that bitch that I know that you can be. And so she's like, I could do it, I could do it. And so Dominic comes on the scene, and Dominic basically starts to bully her, and Sean is like, not helping her. And her and Sean get into altercations because Dominic is an asshole to her. And she's like, why are you not protecting me? And Sean's like, you don't need my protection. You got it. Like, handle it. You can do what you need to do. And so very quickly she develops a relationship with Sean, and it is a beautiful dynamic, and she quickly develops very intense feelings for Sean here. Very intense feelings for Sean. But Dominic is always around. And there are many instances where Dominic has done things that made her feel uncomfortable. Dominic purposely, we think, left his door open, and she sees some things, and she's just like, and there's so many secrets that are going on. There's secrets about what these boys are involved in. There's secrets about what they're doing. She needs to know what this tattoo means. He takes her to this party, and it's very clear that there is some nefarious, underhanded stuff going on, and she gets word from the factory workers. She's like, watch those boys. I see you've been hanging out with Dominic and Sean. And she's like, I hear they share. So everything is shared. And there's also some conversation in the house where she's making dinner for Sean, and Dominic walks in and she made a steak, and Dominic takes the food and she's like, that's not your steak, that's Sean's. And she goes, he says, what's Sean's is mine. So like, you better figure it out. So there is clearly some stuff going on. This is a 5 out of 5 star. I absolutely loved it. You should go into it knowing not more than that, and see what happens and just ride with it and roll with it. It is so good. I couldn't put it down. I was like, it's a page turner. I wanted to read every page of it all in one sitting, and I tried my best to do that, but like, life was getting in the way. But God, life is life, right? What can you do? But it is really, really, really good. It ends on a cliffhanger, and you were just like, what just happened? Oh my God, I cannot believe that. But it ends in a bang with a tremendous punch, and you have to know what's happening next. So then you pick up Exodus, the second book in the series, and I am more than halfway through this, and I gotta tell you, it picks exactly up where it left off, and you are in pain. Oh, let me go back and say that the story is told backwards. So it starts off in the beginning, with her having moved on in her life, but she's revisiting things that happened. And so she's telling you the story then versus now. So it's all of this is then, the prologue is now, right? A brief synopsis of where she is and what happened and what she needs to do. And then she goes back and tells you then. So this is then, and this is then, okay? As far as I am so far. I'll jump on another clip and tell you where it's at that point, but we're going backwards. And you were in the pain with her. Another character is introduced, which I'm not going to tell you who that is. So she is feeling as though she's outgrown Triple Falls. She feels like it's time for her to move on. She's still with that summer, because this all happens over summer. She's still with that summer and what happened in that summer, and trying to figure out, where do I go from here and what happens. And this is enemies to lovers. This is age gap. This is love-hate. There's a lot of tropes. Like, everything is wrapped up all in one. It's forbidden. It's so many different things, and it's really good. It's worth every penny. It's worth all the hype. It is really, really outstanding. And your heart is breaking, and you're frustrated, and you're trying to see the relationship between Cecilia and her father, Roman, what that means. You're looking at her relationship with her mother. You're looking at her relationship with her best friend that she's left at home. And you're looking at her relationship with this group, this dynamic of the Ravenhood boys. She's calling them the Ravenhood boys because there's so much going on. And they have they rejected her? Have they accepted her into the fold? Who is she? What is she going to do? What are they going to do? What is that going to look like in this mysterious character that has come into play and that is causing and wreaking havoc in everybody's damn life? And what does that mean? And where do things go from there? And it's all packed up in a punch in this book. And now we're going to jump on to the next clip so you can hear my conclusion and my thoughts on where all this went. So I just wanted to hop on. I just finished Exodus, and I wanted to kind of give you my thoughts, since I'm filming this in clips, so it's sort of going to be like a vlog style, if you will. So in this book, Cecilia has to come to terms with her choices, her decisions. She's a very angry girl, right? She's really angry because her parents were not there for her. Her mother nor her father. Her father never really acknowledged her. He never stepped up to be the father that he should have been. And as a result, she was really left to her own devices, and he never really explained why he was never there for her. And, as the story evolves, secrets come out, and you start to understand that nothing is as it seems to be. And when the whole thing is really revealed to her, nothing was as she thought it was, and everybody kept secrets from her, and everybody sort of lied to her and deceived her. But she also, in a way, like, I'm disappointed in her because she really does degrade herself. Like, yes, fight for the person that you love and fight to be with that person, but when that person demonstrates that they don't want to be with you, like after a point, now you're really just embarrassing yourself, and you really are not taking no for a hint, right? And you like seem desperate. So there's a lot of times through this book that she seemed really desperate. And I'm also going to say she spends a lot of time, so you know the major players, and I hadn't mentioned the other mystery player because I want that to be a surprise, but we know that Sean and Dominic are a integral piece. She spends a lot of time talking about Dominic, and I understand why she does, and you'll see once you read this, but not as much time talking about Sean. So wasn't there an equal amount of love for both of them? And so why was there so much emphasis on one and not the other? And why did she not seek out one until the absolute end of the book? And so, you know, she's faced with a lot in this story. I also feel like Cecilia hurts a lot of people in this story. She goes after what she wants, and she knows that she's hurting people, and she can't stop herself from doing it, but she does it nonetheless. And it seems almost like God help the people the men that come in contact with Cecilia, because she's going to bowl over them because she hasn't let go of the past. And she acknowledges it. And she says, like, I haven't let go of, it's not fair to you because I haven't let go of my past, and I'm still harboring this, and as a result, you know, I'm hurting the people that are in my life currently. And she absolutely does. And it all comes down to love, right? Like, it all comes down to having this, she attributes it to having this loving heart that is stupid, and that she trips over, and that she's willing to do almost anything to follow love. And she's told time and time again that love is not what it's about. Like, you need to focus on more than just your love for things. Like, it has to be more than just that. There has to be more that a person is offering you or giving you, and you just are, you know, you don't see it. Like, it's almost like she's very naive and very young in terms of the way she views relationships and how she views things. And she's like, you know, you're going to tell me. I want to know the truth. Everybody's hiding everything, and I'm sick of people hiding things from me. And it's like, okay, like, I understand, but also she doesn't handle the truth well, and she overreacts, and when she overreacts, people get hurt and people are in danger. So I think that this book, for me, and I know that not every people that had really high hopes for this book, they were really excited about this book, and I think many people didn't fare out as well. You know, I'm seeing that it didn't get as good of reviews. For me personally, I still gave it a 5 out of 5. I really loved it. I liked how it ended up. I liked the ending, you know, because people have to grovel, right? People have to work through stuff, and they have to come full circle, and they have to let anger and rage and resentment go if you're going to be able to move forward to the future. And if you don't let that rage and anger go, both at yourself and at the people that wronged you, because Cecilia really allowed herself to be used and mistreated and abused and manipulated. She allowed herself, and she knew it, but she couldn't. It was like a train wreck. Like, she just couldn't stop it. And it's almost like she walked into that willingly, but because of love, and she calls it this weak heart that she has, because she loves so much, she couldn't stop it. And I argue that, you know, I argue that, like, when you know something is bad for you, you stay away from it. Like, for example, like, people love doing certain kind of substances and drugs, but they know that heroin, for example, is bad for them, so they stay away from it and they don't do it. Like, you don't do the thing that you know is going to cause you the most damage. But clearly in this book, Cecilia was not able to do that. And so she had to be angry at herself, she had to be angry at them, she had to harbor resentment for everybody involved, but she had to place it where due, you know, put credit where credit is due in that sense. And so she was able to sort of come full circle, I guess, and grow up a bit. But at the same time, I don't know, you know, at the end she makes some choices. She gives away a lot of money, I guess, because she's like, she doesn't want it because it brings back so many memories of the past. You know, what that really means and how realistic that is, I don't know. I am going to say that I'm interested in hearing Tyler's story. So the next book in the series is The Finish Line, and it's the conclusion of the Ravenhood series. And I wonder if it's going to be more about these characters. It's going to be more about second generation, because the epilogue, if you will, is like 10 years forward. And we see what's going on with Sean. and how his life is faring and what that means, and it seems like it's beginning to usher in a new generation. So I haven't looked at the finish line yet. I'm going to start it now, so let's see where that sort of goes and where that ends up. I wonder if it's going to be the same players but second generation, or if we get about Tyler, if it's going to be a companion novel. I'm really excited to see how that goes, so I'm going to film that in the next clip, but I just wanted to give you my thoughts hot off the press. So that is where we're at, and now we're going to hop to the next clip. See you over there. Hi, so I just want to hop on really quick and talk about the finish line. I am 3/4 of the way through the finish line, and I don't want to give away too much. I will do more of a wrap up at the end, but I don't want to give away too much. But the finish line really does pick up with Cecilia and her particular love interest. Now let me say this, because I don't want to give it away if you haven't read it. I will say that this is a reverse harem love situation, but it's done in a way that I like reverse harems. Like, I don't like when reverse harems are like, they're all over the place and they can't pick and they're just jumping from pillar to post. Like, that's not my deal. I don't like that. Now, I like menages for sure, like, especially if it's an MFM, where there is two guys, one girl, and everybody's all involved, but it's all because everybody adds a specific emotional connection, a specific relationship, something unique. They're all together for a very valid and purposeful reason. I really like that. However, in this situation, we go from a reverse harem to she actually selects. She has to select. And through a series of tragic and successive events, she selects. And once she selects, then it is a matter of, because there's a lot of deception, there's a lot of lies, there's a lot of manipulation, there's a lot of really ill treatment. And remember, in the last clip, I said she allows herself to be used, and she allows herself to be mistreated. Now, the other parties I don't think that they necessarily intended to do that, but to manipulate her, but that's how it fared, right? That's how it all worked out. And so resolution needed to be made. And so resolution is being made in this book. It's like, I have degraded myself. I have thrown myself at your mercy. I have said, love me, love me, love me. Be there with me, be there with me. Because Cecilia is very much like, love me, love me. I'm going to go to the ends of the earth for you. Please don't throw me away. Don't throw me away. Because her father threw her away her entire life and never was there for her. And so she never knew she doesn't know what it's like to be loved by a man unconditionally and not be discarded or not be used for some nefarious purpose, right? And so now she has found her self-worth, she has found her voice, and she is requiring that the person she selected step up and pick her and choose her. But if anything, now what's happening is that this is becoming a groveling situation, and I hate groveling. I don't like groveling, and the reason I don't like groveling is because there's no need to, on either side, to put a person through the ringer. Either you choose them or you don't, or you make them make amends, and you're going to forgive them, and you're going to move on. And she is stuck in between this, I love you, I've chosen you, but I haven't forgiven you, and you need to prove to me. And so far, it's seeming like this prove to me is going to take years. And I'm like, dude, I'm not on board with that. Now, I don't know, because the beginning of the book takes place where the person is, it's in the future. So they're so many years old, and then the prologue. And it seems like things are finally coming to a resolution, but as you're reading the story and going through it, it's told in a bifurcated timeline. It's told now in the groveling and trying to make amends and trying to fix all the wrongs that have been done in the present relationship, but then going back and learning this person's history at different junctures or points in their life. So when they were 11, when they were 14, when they were 17, when they were 21, when they were 25, like all of these different significant junctures, so that you can understand who they are and how they became the person that they are now, which is in some way an evil bastard, and in other ways a really selfless, giving, caring individual that goes to the ends of the earth to protect and save the people that he loves. Now, one of the things I think that is really important to mention in this book is, what was I going to say? So a number of secrets are being revealed and discovered, and you're starting to understand why everybody did what they did. You're starting to understand how everybody in her life, including her mother, her father, and any significant love interests, are connected. Now, we're coming up on that third act conflict. I don't know if there's going to be one, but we're at the last quarter of the book, and usually there's a third act conflict. So let's see if this does the same. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I just want a decision. I just want her to make a decision. I want her to if she's going to let the past go, let the past go, and move forward to where they are currently and start working on current issues. The other thing that sort of drives me crazy in books is where the heroine often is really upset because secrets are being kept from her. Now, nobody wants secrets, right? You don't want that, for sure. But this idea of tell me everything, is crazy to me. And I guess as a married woman, I understand that you're not going to discuss every detail of everything. This whole tell me everything thing is and if you don't tell me every detail, everything that you're thinking, everything that you've ever done, you're hiding things from me. And I get that they become hypersensitive because they've been kept in the dark for so long, and things have been held and secrets have been kept, that now they're hypersensitive. But it's not realistic to think that the person that you're with is going to divulge every little detail, and you can't jump to conclusions and write somebody off because they haven't divulged everything to you. Whereas on the flip side with the hero, you can't protect a person from every detail, and when you are so wanting to protect and so alpha, now you're just smothering. So you can't be smothering either. So everybody's got to learn some balance here, and we got to come to a happy medium of secrets and protection so that everybody is good and we can survive each other and not want to strangle the person that you're with because they're just overbearing and too much. So anyway, that's my thoughts on that, and I will be back in the next clip to conclude my reading of Kate Stewart's The Finish Line. See you there. Hi, so I am back for the wrap up of this video. This has turned into a reading vlog. Didn't know I was going to do it like this, but it worked out really well. As you can see, I finished the trilogy of the Ravenhood series, and I just finished The Finish Line, and I gotta say, I really liked it. It is, it was pretty emotional at the end, right? Because it's the story of really true, in-depth love between four characters, and it's the story of redemption, forgiveness, acceptance, grief, loss, turmoil, doing the right thing, coming to terms with your past, being broken, and then rebuilding yourself and being reborn into a new version of yourself. It's also the story of coming from the depths of poverty and being a lost and impoverished kid and reaching to the highest depths of political office. It was a very intriguing story, lots of intriguing storylines. Some of them were a little bit hard to follow in terms of really understanding the plots behind things and understanding who they were really fighting against. It's corruption, and it's against crooked politicians and thieves and things like that, but you don't really understand. I didn't really understand the full nuances of what that meant, so I'll probably go back and reread it to really understand. The other thing I think that's really important is that Cecilia, the main character, the heroine, I didn't really care for her personality. Even when she was redeemed and she was supposed to be empowered and strong and independent and a queen in her own right, she still, and you were supposed to show that she just had this huge, tremendous heart that she loved everybody, the people that were in her lives, to the depths of her soul. And that's what drove her, love and commitment and dedication. But I just saw her as needy and insecure and needing to prove her worth. Even at the end with the grand finale of everything that came together, I felt like she just needed to prove that she was worthy. And while she was saying, you can trust me, it just was like the desperation, I feel like, throughout the entire series really seeped from her pores. So I just struggled with her. But the overall storyline was very fascinating, very interesting. I gave the story, the whole series, a 5 out of 5 star. I really, really enjoyed it. I was wondering and thinking, you know, is this going to make it to my top 10 all-time favorite series? And it probably won't. And I'm trying to come up with like a rating system in a way, because I kind of give out 5-star ratings like candy, you know, like if it's good and I'm entertained and it's spicy, I'm like 5 stars. 5, you get a 5, you get a 5, you get a 5, you get a 5. So I need to come up with a way to kind of differentiate, and so I'm trying to, so like and then I was like, well, maybe I'll give like triple 5s, like, I don't know. So this is just a single 5-star. So it's just, it was good and I enjoyed it and it was a fun ride. You know, one of the things that I kind of also use to judge, and this is a little bit contradictory, whether or not a series is really good, is if I have book hangover. And I have, like, you know, after in a trilogy, like 3 books, I've spent 3 books with these characters, right? And so they have a special place in my heart, particularly one in particular. And I think it'll be okay to say that that's Tobias. Tobias is like, has a special place in my heart because I understand the sacrifice and the commitment and the dedication that he put in. He put the work in for everybody, to be the backbone for everybody. And, you know, heavy is the head that wears the crown. You know, that's it, and that was displayed in spades in this book. So this turned out to be a long vlog. So having said that, I'm really glad that I did this. I went on this ride. I'm really glad that I read this. It was a great reading experience. I always love scenarios or stories where there are multiple like guy characters, or multiple characters where there's like 5 or more and they're all like a tight network and close network, and you're seeing them interact in their day-to-day lives and things that are going on with their significant others and all of that stuff. And this was that. And so I really appreciated that and loved it. And, you know, and I was okay with the way that this story was told also, like in going back and then bringing you all the way up to present in terms of understanding where he was, so that you can understand how he got to be where he is currently. And so, well done, Kate Stewart. So, having said that, you guys, I really hope that you hung out with me throughout this long journey. I really hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope that you will read this trilogy, and I think that you will really appreciate it and you'll like it. So please like the video. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. You know, I upload new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So please come out and check them out and hang out with me some more and interact with me in the comments. I really appreciate it. I really love hearing from you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.